The following is a presentation of TFNN. The Bull Bear Binary Option Hour. Brought to you by Nadex. Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044. Now, Tommy O'Brien, and Darrell Martin.
Welcome, folks. Tommy O'Brien, Darrell Martin. My dad, Tom, is on a lovely extended weekend this weekend. So, Darrell, you and I will be holding down the fort on Friday. What is going on?
Sweet. Just checking out the markets right now. We got NASDAQ just flying on up.
We have some action to hold down the fort with, that's for sure.
And a smooth, nice uptrend all morning. You know, NFP getting things rocking today.
Sure. So the jobs, 255,000 were added. We get the Dow up 155, NASDAQ up like 50, S&P up 14, gold down, what, like $20, oil down a little bit.
Yeah.
Markets all across the way. And if you haven't tried the Nadex platform, this is a perfect time. We have news, we have earnings. You can go right to the front page TFNN, click the banner, download it, get a demo account. You'll have $25,000 of practice funds, and you can be out there trying it in no time. So what were you looking at specifically of all the things moving in this morning, Darrell?
I mean, I was on a variety of markets, you know, especially where we have NFP. There's a lot of different things I can trade.
I bet. That's, yeah.
I was trading NASDAQ. I was looking at on futures. I was trading pound dollar early this morning and then Aussie yen as well this morning. And God, what else was I on this morning?
So a lot of currencies.
Pound. Yeah, pound. Then last night I even played a little bit with the Nikkei 225, so that was sort of fun.
Okay.
But this morning, yeah, basically Aussie yen and NASDAQ were the two that I was focusing on.
Aussie yen and the NASDAQ. So tell us about the Aussie yen and what was going on over there.
Just, you know, we had a lot of fast movement, so which can make good. I was, you know, playing around with some binaries on that.
Okay.
And so, you know, fast movement on binaries is with, you know, news can be fun if you know how to do it, if you're used to it.
Sure. And are you trading pretty close to expiration when you're doing those? As in, like, you know, expiring in a half hour or something like that, or what?
Yeah. A lot of times I'm even playing with the 5-minute contracts on those.
Okay.
So, and I mean, we just had we had obviously some crazy volatility that happened right as NFP happened, and so there was just a lot of up and down movement. So, you know, go in and grab like barely out of the monies.
Okay, right.
Grab for $20-$30, get out them for $40-$60, and just repeating over and over and over and over and over again. And then now it's just flying on up with everything else. And so it's been mostly bullish, really. You know, I mean, it had some, you know, pullbacks, but it's been mostly bullish. See, I'll throw a chart up of
I mean, there's so many charts that right off that 830 number are just straight lines in one way or the other. I mean, the gold chart's basically an inverse relationship of every market chart, you know.
Yeah. And I mean, that's Aussie yen. It may not look pretty to a lot of people, but it looks good to me. And so, you know, just different ways that I trade it. And when, you know, markets pull back, they touch certain levels, hopping in over and over again. And it's a little different pair to trade. I don't trade it often, but it looked right for what I was doing this morning. And so decided to, you know, have some fun with it.
Cool.
And it's sitting right now. I mean, it's up there at just about at a deviation right now. So
nice. And what are the lines I'm looking at below? Is that a half deviation and then a 3/4? Those two blue lines.
Yeah, it's basically one deviation, 0.7, 0.5.
0.7 and 0.5. Okay.
Basically what I call a settlement on FX from yesterday. So.
And maybe we'll cover, we have a break coming up in 2 minutes, but I was thinking about, you know, with my dad on vacation, maybe we spend just a few minutes today, because you're so good with it, going over just some of those statistical numbers on the deviations, because, you know, one of my favorite classes in college literally was statistics, right?
Glutton for punishment.
Yeah, I mean, it's vicious, it is, right. But it's so cool because I think it applies to so many things. When you talk about probabilities, distribution, you know, the statistics and the likelihood, the mathematical breakdown,
exhaustion and things like that.
Yeah, I mean it's cool when you start looking at, you know, the tail distribution, right, and how highly probable you can get certain events down to. And I know you trade a lot off of those deviation numbers.
Yeah, I use a lot of stats and everything. And I mean, just looking at, you know, NASDAQ, like right now, this is NASDAQ live. Okay.
I have your chart up too. Yep.
It's flat. I got, you know, some order flow stuff on here, but it's flat, flies up, and notice where it just pauses.
Nice.
Right there, that's one deviation level.
Nice.
So this is where you're gonna, start, at least tightening your stop, if not taking some profits. And, it's just one of those areas that if you're not aware of it, either you're going to hop in at the very top, it's just one of those, or sometimes a move feels big on a chart because, how charts will change their size on you?
Sure.
And, it's like, because there's only a few points of movement on the chart, so a small move can look big.
Yes, everything in context, right?
Exactly. So deviation sort of like that thing that says, this is what a big move is, and this is an expected move on the day. Yeah,
and I guess context is probably a good word in that too, right? It helps you keep everything in context, where it's like, regardless of the point value, regardless of the percentage move, this is like the expected move, which is really what matters.
Exactly, and I pull these numbers a little bit differently instead of like doing like standard deviation levels where you pull what has happened. Because think about like what happened yesterday doesn't really have to do with what happened today.
Sure.
Right, especially with we have like NFP today.
Exactly, yeah.
And so I pull implied volatility, which is a fancy word for expected movement, out of the options prices of the futures market, stuff like that.
Sure.
And I do it on. I have a program that does it now on like 22,000 stocks and all that. And what it does is it basically lets us know what is the expected move of all the players in the market. So people putting their money where their mouth is. Sort of like a poll, but people have to pay to vote.
Yeah. And usually that's the most indicative in the most truthful manner. It is, right? Because that's what has the most weighting, as in the true conviction of somebody is what they put their investment behind or their money behind.
Exactly.
Okay, maybe we'll get into more. I want to know those exact distributions because I know at 1 deviation it's this likely, at 2 deviations it's this likely. We'll talk about it when we get back. We get the Dow up 145, NASDAQ up 50, S&P up 15. Come on back, folks.
Larry Pesavento has just started his brand new service, Fibonacci 24/7, and he's already delivering content to his subscribers on a daily basis when the market's opened and even on weekends. Each Monday, you'll receive Larry's written report that provides detailed commentary and a summary on the charts and videos that Larry sends out. And throughout the week, when warranted, Larry will send out via charts or videos or both the key markets that he is watching during the day. This will be up-to-the-date, active trading information that will help you in your daily trading. In Larry's first week alone, he sent out 25 charts, 6 videos, and a full report to his subscribers in just 1 week. If you're a technical trader that uses patterns and retracements to trade, then Larry's service Fibonacci 24/7 is something that you must try. Right now, new subscribers can get a full 30-day money-back guarantee. With nothing to risk, sign up now to Larry Pesavento's Fibonacci 24/7 by visiting the front page of TFNN.com under Trading Newsletters.
Platinum, grains, crude oil, gold, copper, cattle, hogs, gasoline, natural gas, coffee, cotton, cocoa, and sugar. These are just some of the commodities mentioned in the most recent issue of Andy Hecht's Technomental Commodity Report. Andy publishes his weekly newsletter every Thursday morning, where he breaks down the commodity market and provides his subscribers with specific trading recommendations based on his trading methodology. By signing up for a free trial to the Technomental Commodity Report, you'll get a full 30 days to try out this powerful newsletter service and see for yourself the types of trades Andy has recommended for his subscribers. When you sign up for a 30-day free trial, you're under no obligation to pay anything. And should you decide to continue, you will lock in the low rate of only $79 a month. Sign up right now for the Technomental Commodity Report and make sure you're ready to catch the next big trade in commodities. For more information and to get started today, visit the front page of TFNN.com.
You know what's cool? Taking something that's good for you. Something specifically formulated to help with weight loss, better sleep, stress reduction, and the need to detox.
Nico, our hunter and gatherer ancestors found all their nutritional requirements for health in their wild environment. But today, our food sources no longer contain the vitamins, minerals, and nutrients our bodies need to stay healthy and strong.
That's why we need Primal Edge Daily Nutrition. It includes a special blend of ionic, soil-based vitamins, minerals, fatty, and amino acids in an easy-to-use liquid form.
Primal Edge is powered by highly concentrated fulvic and humic acids, nature's preferred delivery system. They have been called miracle molecules because, like sunlight, air, and water, life cannot exist without them.
That's right, Paige. They ensure we receive all the nutrition we need to be healthy and thrive. We take it every morning.
Primal Edge, formulated and approved by Nico and Paige of Living a Primal Lifestyle. Buy it today for just $89. Click on the Primal Edge banner on the front page of TFNN.com. We take your phone calls now. Toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044.
Welcome back, folks. Tommy O'Brien, Darrell Martin. The Bull Bear Binary Option Hour by Nadex. We're talking about the market. Dow's up 156, Nasdaq's up 50, S&P is up 15. So, Darrell, real briefly, but you know, and that's the part that I really think that I enjoyed so much when you're talking about statistics is like the actual mathematical breakdown of at one deviation, the probability over time, right? As you reach those averages and the means, and you get a big enough sample size. X amount percentage of time, this is going to be the possible move that it will have. And guess what? If you play those averages long enough, they'll start to add up.
Exactly.
So,
Yep.
so what if you can go through like the 0.5, the 0.7, and you know people can go back, watch the archive. But what kind of probabilities do you deal with at those different levels?
On the deviation levels, basically what you're looking at, the main one is a one deviation move.
Okay.
And again, it's implied deviation, sort of important to understand that.
Yeah.
But on a one deviation move, what you're expecting is it's right around 67% of the time the market will stay within that range.
Okay.
So
It's a
what
nice
does that
easy
mean?
2 out of 3, right?
Right, exactly. So basically, 1 out of 3 times, the market's really not going to exceed that.
Okay.
So that allows me to,
No, 2 out of 3 times it's not going to exceed that, right? Is that what you?
2 out of 3 times it should go to that point. 1 out of 3 times it shouldn't exceed it.
Right. Cool.
So basically, you look at it both ways. It's like, okay, so it should go this far 2 out of 3 times, but it shouldn't go further 1 out of 3 times.
Right.
And so you can play that as a contrarian.
That was going to be my next question. So do you use that more as like an area where you're looking to exit, or is that something where you're looking to initiate for the pullback, where that's...
I'm basically doing what I'm looking at is either, depending upon what I'm seeing, like in how the orders are moving around, I'm either exiting or tightening a stop. I'll go down to a lower time frame and tighten that stop up, because I have to see a lot of volume pushing through one of those levels for it to really bust out of it.
Okay.
And then I'm looking for a reversal. Like right now at the ASEAN, we went up to that one deviation zone right there, and now we're starting to pull back.
Yeah.
And and notice at 0.5 and 0.7, I've noticed that a lot of times that's your chop zone. And chop is where traders get hurt a lot, right?
Okay.
So that's usually the number one enemy of traders, unless they're good at identifying and trading it. Then it's the number one friend. But anyway, so notice how it'll go in here, got in this chop zone. Once it finally broke 0.5, went to 0.7, it plays in that area. And so that's where I was playing a lot of scalps.
Okay.
Okay, so I was just chopping between them back and forth on the 0.5 to 0.7 deviation level, and that's the market. I'll just get stuck in that area, and then it'll bust one way or the other.
And there it is, huh?
And but yeah, you can see how it's just breaking down right off that one deviation, and this is just Aussie yen. I mean, nothing super special, right? And I mean, we're pulling futures data to display this on even Forex, and so. But it's pretty cool. It's very objective. It's not just it's not like magical formula indicator.
Sure. And again, it can probably be a tool that people can incorporate. Whether it's of the utmost importance or just something they keep on their radar and they're aware of as they're trading their own methodology. Where it's like that's a meaningful number, in my opinion. It is, no matter what you're trading with. Yeah,
and I mean, like I said, we can do this on stocks. We can do this on Forex. We can do it on futures. I can go here, I can switch it up, and we can look at, S&P, obviously the, most traded, future in the U.S., second most traded in the world next to the Kospi.
Yeah, so where are we on the deviations on the S&P? One deviation as well?
One deviation, yeah, and look at it, how it's pulling back right now. I mean, I can't make that up, just boom. And you can go over and you can check out, when you start seeing all of them line up, you go to the major indices, we pull up the Dow. See, is it doing the same thing? Is it lagging? Is it leading?
Now, that can really be nice. Do you use those expected numbers when you're trading binaries? Like, I happen to be looking at the S&P. You just happen to pull that up. I was looking at that this morning, and I'm probably going to make a post later on the site binaryoptions.nadex.com. And so what I was looking at was the S&P right ahead of that jobs number, and I pulled up the 10 a.m. binaries. Now, this is at about 8:25. And what's intriguing about it, and I'll pull up the chart, and I just happened to check them, and I didn't finish the post. It was a busy morning, right? My dad's out. We're flying around here at TFNN. But so I pull it back up, knowing there was a huge move, and I'm just going to post something later where you can see kind of the market beforehand, right? And then you get to see the market after these huge moves. And that's kind of what you get to see in the demo, and it's just showing these charts, and you learn a lot from the charts. But what was so cool, I thought, Darrell, is I pulled it up. And so this is literally, I'm pulling the chart up into the den. This is 10 seconds before 10 a.m., so they're all about to expire. But the S&P had such a big move, and these binaries vary. I think they have more options, maybe even on the NDX 100. But it cleared every single one of the 10 a.m. binaries. It was such a big move. And now, what's interesting is it cleared them all, as in no matter which one you chose, if you were going to the upside, you would have been profitable.
Right.
And it stayed, and it was only one deviation. That's pretty cool, right? Like, if I had known that, that's something that would be powerful there, as in, I could have bought the furthest outlying binary knowing that it was still within that one deviation number.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it is
sometimes
pretty...
they'll add them because the deviation gets so big. Like on Brexit, they added a bunch of strikes.
I bet. Yeah. Yeah.
So,
and again, these were only the 10
10
a.m.s, so there are a lot to choose from, but that was with the shortest time frame. And then I wasn't trading it. I was, flying around, like I said, but it's a perfect example where you just take a snapshot, and I don't have the charts, unfortunately. I was on my laptop, but I took them. You take the snapshot beforehand. You get a feel for the market, what kind of options are priced into that, and then you get to see how it reacts afterwards. And I just thought, no matter which one you chose, if you're to the upside, and you could have done a strangle, I'm sure as well. You got a nice pop from, you're talking about 15 S&P points. That can do it when you're in that option market.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so you can go on and, like I said, S&P, let's see here. I'm trying to think of some other things we can even look at.
Yeah, we'll take a look at gold. What times? Yeah, we're rocking. Because gold had, I didn't take a look at the binaries on gold. I was thinking about doing that one, knowing that if the jobs number was a big number one way or the other, the gold could have a big reaction for sure.
Look at that. 1343.9 is one deviation. And these get plotted at 6 o'clock.
1343.9, and I believe the low is 1343.1.
Yeah, there you go.
And
We're
that's
bouncing off of it right now.
And that's a solid 24 points below where it was trading as that news came out. $24, not points. Yeah, 24.
That was 1.5 deviations.
Okay, that makes $24 in gold in the last hour and a half.
51.8 was actually the one deviation. But you see how it came down, it popped the one deviation. Notice how it stood there for about an hour. Okay?
Yep. And that was after 8:30. Yep.
Yep. And then about 9:30, it dropped on down another half deviation, but like right there to the point. So,
pretty cool, man.
They serve as really good support resistance levels, areas where, like I said, tighten profits. Because if you weren't tightening profits here, okay?
It's reaching all these levels, right?
Right. It came down here. It flew back up. A good, 6 points. That's $600 a contract.
Big time, yeah.
You would have been.
That's a huge move on any other moment, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, and then let it, come its way back down, hop back in, and then you get a nice smooth trend going on down to the next level. Okay, now I'm going to tighten my profits. Stops again. If it does a little pop down, comes back up. Then what was resistance becomes support, and vice versa. And you can play that in a lot of different ways.
All right, folks. We got the Dow still up 142. We're just hanging out at these highs. NASDAQ up 50. S&P's up 15. Amazon's up $5, rocking. And we have Mike from Dallas when we come back. Darrell Martin, Tommy O'Brien, Bull Bear Binary Option Hour. Come back, folks.
Today, it's hard to tell if the economy is coming or going. Regardless, I want my money going in the direction I choose. If that's your stance as well, then you want to know how Everbank can help keep your money thriving just the way you want. Is growing your money a priority? Everbank is committed to a yield pledge promise to pay high yields on your checking, money market, and CD balances. Looking to diversify? Everbank ingeniously developed accessible ways to spread your money around the world into foreign currencies and even non-FDIC insured metals. And when it comes to your wealth, they bring a highly experienced and global perspective to help you manage it. Everbank's financial philosophy flies in the face of the status quo. They believe your money's performance should not be determined by today's economic circumstances, but by the drive to rise above them and create opportunities that favor your objectives. If that excites you like it does me, visit everbank.com/TFNN to find out what they can do for you. Again, that's everbank.com/TFNN. Visit them today. Everbank is a member FDIC and equal housing lender.
If you're an active trader looking for that extra edge when it comes to trading and investments, then now is a great time to get a 2-week free trial to Tom O'Brien's daily market letter, Market Insights. Tom O'Brien's daily newsletter, Market Insights, comes out every market day at around 9:30 a.m. and provides Tom's daily commentary on the broad market, including the Dow, NASDAQ, and S&P, plus specific trade recommendations. There's even an update published most afternoons to keep you informed about the day's market activity. He'll give you the entry price, price target, and stop price of each stock and option trade. With Market Insights, there's nothing left to guessing. For all the details and to get your 2-week free trial to Market Insights started today, visit TFNN.com.
TFNN is excited to offer a brand new piece of market scanning software unlike anything the industry has ever seen. John Logan and his team have spent years developing their market profile tools to finally be able to release the TAS Profile Scanner Plus. And right now you can get a 2-week trial absolutely free just by visiting TFNN.com and providing us your name and email address. The TAS Profile Scanner Plus is the premier market profile-based scanner in the industry. Powered by the acclaimed TAS proprietary algorithms, this feature-rich scanner is a standalone desktop software that instantly filters over 2,500 global financial markets such as stocks, ETFs, commodity futures, and Forex. Within 3 minutes of signing up, you can have the software downloaded and running on your computer with a complete roadmap of market indicators and inflection points to trade off using the TAS Profile Scanner Plus. Sign up today and try this amazing piece of software by visiting TFNN.com.
This segment is brought to you by Think or Swim. For more information, just click the Think or Swim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
Welcome back, folks. Tommy O'Brien, Darrell Martin. Dow is up 140, NASDAQ up 48, S&P up 14. If you have not tried the Nadex platform, give it a try. This is a perfect time with the markets doing wild things for sure. And let's go to our man Mike in Dallas. Mike, good morning.
Well, good morning. Good morning, Darrell and Tommy.
Good morning.
Hey there, how you doing?
Darrell, I'm a student of yours and in Dallas, and I wanted to share a couple of things and then ask you a question. I do the spreads, and over the last several days, I've done NASDAQ spreads. And what I have done, and you were talking about the deviations, I'll take all the deviations and I will divide each deviation at 50% and put a line. And then I will take that line and then divide it by 50% to the next deviation. Okay?
Okay, so basically you'll draw a line halfway in between each?
Exactly.
Okay.
And what that does, and you were mentioning CHOP, what that does for me, it gives me another indication along with other indicators, if they're all green, that it will continue up if it breaks through that 50% of the deviation. Not all the time, but it just gives me
Basically,
another
if it gets halfway through one deviation to another, it'll usually go all the way to the other side of the deviation.
Exactly. Or
Okay.
it's a moment to watch it. And if the bar closes above my 50%, then I have a good chance that it will continue up. If it does not, then it's a good time to really watch your profits. So just a point that I have observed over the last 6 months.
We'll all take it under consideration, Mike. We appreciate it, man.
Awesome. No, that's a good tip.
It really has helped me. Now on the 0.5 and 0.7 deviation, you had mentioned you were talking about the pairs. Is this also true with other markets? Would you say?
Go ahead, Darrell,
like
but I think he uses it on almost anything, Mike.
Yeah, I mean, I have it on Amazon right now.
Yeah.
You can put it on anything.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I meant when you mentioned between 0.5 and 0.7, you had mentioned a chop. A lot of times.
The market will often chop right between the 0.5, 0.7 area. Yeah.
Okay, and that's with Nasdaq or Dow or.
That's all the above, Mike.
Yeah,
Okay, buddy.
0.5, 0.7 on any instrument I trade.
Okay.
I usually look for a chop. Yeah.
Okay, and your Alchemy 2 system has just been wonderful for me.
Awesome.
I wanted
Thank you.
to know that. Yeah.
Appreciate that.
And okay, well, listen, thank you very much. I'm going to have a great Friday and go out and have a steak dinner, and you all do the same.
That is a perfect plan, man.
There you go, man.
Awesome.
Yeah, you
Thanks a
enjoy
lot.
it.
Enjoy, Mike.
you.
Thanks for calling, man.
See ya. Bye-bye.
All right.
All right, and we got our man Tom from Plymouth. Happy Friday, Tom. Good morning.
Hey, good morning, Colleen, Darrell. Happy Friday jobs report to you guys.
There you go. You know it.
So, what do we have?
Volatility.
What do we have cooking that makes this jobs report action for you, Tom?
We talked about it, I think, on Wednesday. And,
Was it yesterday or Wednesday? Right? It must have been Wednesday. Yeah, it was Wednesday. It was.
I scared myself yesterday buying that thing all the way down. I kept buying it and buying it.
You wild
boy.
man, you. Well, we're
Oh,
talking
my
about
God.
JDST, folks. It's the Direction Daily Junior Gold Miners Index bear 3 times. And if you've been following gold down $20 this morning, that is a nice position to be in. So you're in this, Tom? You were buying it yesterday and go as it was dropping?
Oh, yeah. I bought it all the way down to 404. So.
Oh, good for you, man. What a trade. So, Darrell, can you take a look at JDST and where we're at on some of these
I was
deviations?
trying to pull it up, and I don't have it listed in my list.
No, okay. It's
Yeah.
maybe it's just because it's too small, or just one of these triple ETFs on one of the smallers. I mean, it's just got to be going from 4 to 460. You're talking about a 15% move, even on the triples. I'm sure you got to be approaching those levels. So, do you have a plan, Tom, or is that what you're calling for? What's your plan? Does it involve a steak dinner like Mike from Dallas? It might.
Oh, it's at least a
nothing wrong with
Yeah,
that.
right. Maybe a couple steak dinners this weekend. Yeah, I mean, what a move, man. It's no matter what. I think Darrell took a look at gold, and that, the move on gold, I think, Darrell, you said was like 1.5 deviations it was approaching.
Yeah, it was
correct?
great. Yeah, I mean, it looks like a pretty big move on it.
Yeah.
I back it up and look at it. It's just not built into my normal
Yeah.
watch list.
On a Friday over the weekend, Tom, with that kind of move and just nailing it with such a jobs number, I mean, how can you not just take a lot of that off the table at least?
Yeah, I have to take at least half of it off,
Yeah.
I think, anyway.
Start.
I have way too much invested in it right now.
Yeah, and just for such a huge blowout, I mean, that's a huge number, man. And opening yourself up to a huge number on, news and getting it right all in the span of one day is, if you're not taking some money off the table there, you'll be in trouble in the long run, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Agreed.
That's
I think, I looked at the JDXJ, and
Okay.
it didn't look to be going down on that much volume, but
And
I don't
what's
think
going
it's-
on is I just don't have the access to volume that my dad has, unfortunately.
oh, okay.
Yeah. He takes his Bloomberg with his thumbprint with him on the road, unfortunately, and that's
That he does.
that he does.
Leave stuff behind for you.
Well, thanks for the help, and if you get a chance, maybe look at the DSLV. I've been in that for a little bit too, so
Oh boy, man, you're rocking.
cooking up pretty good today also.
That's the 3 times inverse silver, man. Yeah, you with positions across the board, man. I would definitely take some off so that you don't even have to sweat it over the weekend. What's the fun in nailing the market if you got to still sweat it over the weekend, right?
I never trust the weekend
Yeah,
anyway.
no way, man. Not with all your profits built into it. That's really dangerous for sure.
Yep. Okay, man.
Awesome. Thanks, Tom.
Thank
Great
you very
trade,
much.
man.
See ya.
Take care. Yeah, and that's where, right away those deviations, like we're talking about, Darrell. I mean, when you're looking at gold, 1.5 deviation in a day, well, you can be pretty sure that you're not going to get a lot more action to the upside today on many occasions, right? So you open yourself up to the downside, at least tighten it up like you're talking about, put your stops in there, make sure things are tight. And if it wasn't for the weekend, right? You could say, okay, maybe Tom could keep that trade open a little bit and just keep things tight. But the weekend is a big news cycle recently, and a lot can happen, especially coming off a jobs number and just the market digesting that, I think.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you go in there. It's just you have to have those objective outlooks on trading because it's so easy to get so caught up when it's moving.
Right.
And,
greed and fear, as they are constantly fighting at you. And I think that's why if you have a plan ahead of time, it helps you keep fear and greed in check. That's how I look at myself. It is, I need a plan, and that's why I like when you use those deviations. I like knowing where I have my stop, my profit potential, because it's tough to figure out the plan on the go. Because guess what? Your mind has to deal with those fear and greed that we talk about. It's a real deal. That's why we've talked about, you take out all those profits immediately. That's a fear and greed deal. That's a mentality deal where you're checking yourself to make sure that, you don't allow that greed to say, I have this money in my trading account. That's real cash. It's all a battle. All right.
Exactly.
We will come back. Dow is just hovering, 140 up, NASDAQ up 50, S&P up 15. Come on back, folks.
Has the current market volatility continued to stop you out of trades when the market spikes against you? Now is the perfect time to open up an account with Nadex. Nadex, the North American Derivatives Exchange, is a brand new, completely regulated Chicago-based exchange, and unlike most other exchanges, Nadex allows you to trade directly through them with direct market access when using their completely free trading platform, which also features real-time charts and full customization capability. One of the advantages of trading with Nadex in volatile markets is that your risk is always capped and you have the ability of keeping your trades open even when the market spikes against you. Nadex is completely brand new with a line of unique trading products that are unavailable anywhere else. See how it works at nadex.com. That's Nadex.com. Or click on the Nadex banner on the front page of TFNN.com. Futures and options trading involves risk and may not be appropriate for all investors.
Tom O'Brien's weekly gold letter, The Gold Report, gives complete and concise coverage of the entire gold market. Inside, you'll get Tom's commentary on gold, the dollar, the rand, the bond, the XAU, the HUI, and detailed coverage of nearly 25 mining stocks. He'll give you the entry price, price target, and stop price of each stock trade. The Gold Report is a long-term newsletter where the focus is on building real wealth through the management of a successful portfolio of gold stocks. With a lifetime of knowledge and almost 12 years of writing his informative weekly newsletter, The Gold Report, Tom O'Brien can provide you with the important market information to help you make better trades in the gold market. Don't let the next bull run in gold pass you by. To get a month-long free trial to The Gold Report, an $85 value, visit the front page of TFNN.com today.
David White's newsletter, The Technology Insider, is focused like a laser on finding the next big things in technology. If you had invested only $10,000 in Microsoft in 1986, you'd have been a millionaire by 2000. Disruptive technology like Microsoft's is the key to these massive long-term profits, and the Tech Insider is the vehicle from TFNN to capitalize on these opportunities. This is the go-to newsletter that identifies, monitors, and profits on mostly little-known cutting-edge companies with great long-term prospects. David's experience is as an inventor of Emmy-winning animation products for TV and Hollywood that propelled a company public. Match that with 14 years as a full-time trader, and he's uniquely qualified to guide you through the light-speed world of ever-evolving high-tech. If you're ready to ride the next big technology bull market for less than $40 per month, log on to TFNN.com and get your 2-week free trial to the Technology Insider. Get in on the ground floor of the next big thing today.
This segment is brought to you by TFNN. Test drive all the newsletters for free at TFNN.com.
Welcome back, folks. Tommy O'Brien, Darrell Martin. Bull Bear Binary Option Hour by Nadex. If you have not tried the Nadex platform yet, great time to try it out. Click on the banner on the TFNN website, download it, get a demo account open, and you will be up in no time. You can be trading these next week. And of course, we do the show every Monday, Friday, 10 a.m. and we will be back on Monday. The market should be rocking. We'll be looking at some of the weekly binaries. So I was just looking at some of the biggest percentage movers as we were during the break, Darrell. We have some huge numbers in terms of misses, profits. I think Kevin Hinks had mentioned there were 1,400 companies coming out with earnings this week still. Bristol Myers Squibb must have had a huge miss. They're down 16%. Sierra Wireless down 17%. Hortonworks down 26%. On the flip side of that, on the positive, let's see, we got a huge Signal Bay's up. No, that's this. I mean, really, some of those. Bristol Myers Squibb was the one that jumped out enormous to be down 16%. They must have had a huge miss.
Yeah, and bad forward expectations on top of that.
Is that what it was? Yeah. I was just surprised to see such huge double-digit losses over here. Sierra Wireless down 17%.
Puts on that.
Yeah, just right. I mean, just for a huge positive day, there's some huge companies that are having big problems on their own for sure. So what are we setting up for next week on the horizon, Darrell? What do we have going on? I know you're usually all over the scene in terms of news. Do we have big action? I know this was, a jobs number and with so much earnings. Earnings are starting to chill out a little bit. Where do you look for action on the market after that kind of...
Yeah, earnings season sort of dying off.
Yeah.
Australia has a holiday Sunday.
Okay.
So that'll chill Aussie out a little bit. China has, quite a few earnings, or not earnings, but announcements coming out in the evening, so that could pick up the yen. Might make the Aussie move a little bit there around 9 o'clock in the evening.
And you're talking about Sunday evening, correct?
Correct.
Yes,
and then
okay.
Switzerland has a bank holiday, and Canada has a bank holiday Monday.
Interesting, okay.
So just, I don't always know what all their holidays are. I didn't even look it up. I just marked holiday.
Yeah, not that it doesn't matter, but it kind of doesn't matter, right? For the purposes of you're digesting
chart.
You're digesting too much information to find out every detail if it's not quite of consequence.
Exactly. I'm sort of like, okay, so they're going to be, so expect a little lighter liquidity, which could mean faster movement on those pairs.
Okay.
Because a lot of times less, liquidity if the banks aren't trading it because that bank isn't open. There's less traders, so what happens is that liquidity sort of gets sucked out, the bid offers get wider, and things can jump around a little bit. And then you usually really move fast when they reopen after the holiday. So that's just a little pattern I've seen. Nothing major to trade off of. Just,
not compared to what we've been dealing with recently.
Exactly.
And maybe this is that stretch. We've talked about this before where it's not the normal summer in terms of just how much news, how much action, how much people need to be at their desks Monday and Friday, that the whole week is kind of in play. And maybe this is when things just calm for maybe 2 to 3 weeks up until the summer's over.
Yeah, there's really just not a whole lot coming out.
I was thinking about that this morning, getting ready for this show, actually, and just compared to what we've been dealing with, this could be a lull. Now, guess what? Anything could happen come Monday, like we talk about with Tom and not being in a gold trade even for the weekend. But there's nothing on the horizon that we have to wait for in terms of market moving action.
Yeah, there's nothing that I think we're sort of in that I think lull that's going to start calming down a little bit until what happens is after Labor Day weekend.
Yeah.
So about mid-September, we start getting a lot of action.
I can, for sure.
And everybody comes back. They're ready to trade. They're ready to go.
And who knows? With so much action, maybe it will start right after Labor Day this year. Maybe it'll be a compressed summer.
That would be nice.
Yeah.
That would be really nice.
Yeah.
And so we got that, and then it goes really usually strong into October. So that's actually when most of the crashes happen. They started in September. I'm not forecasting a crash.
No, I hear you. But
that's where there's so much volatility usually in September. It can often cause a panic, and that causes even more volatility, which can snowball in October. And like I said, I'm not expecting one, especially with the election, all that stuff coming up. But just saying, hey, you usually do get some nice volatility coming up. So sometimes people get like, oh man, where'd all the volatility go? If that does happen,
because that will probably, I was going to say, aside from world events that can do anything to our markets, I think in the month leading up to the election, maybe the market's just going to be waiting to see who wins, to see what happens before. I can't imagine a huge, but you know what? I'm not going to try and predict what politics is going to do to the market, because in this season, just about anything could probably happen in the final month of that election.
Oh, I had the wrong 2 countries listed on my list. I need to correct myself. France and Italy are having bank holidays on Monday.
Okay.
So, but yeah.
Either way, a little bit less liquidity, which is what you were looking towards.
And Australia will have a monetary policy statement on Monday night, so that I'll be looking forward to.
Yeah,
So
it'll be interesting to see how with these jobs in terms of our policy, right? I mean, that's going to be the conversation. Our rates going up, and it's a legitimate conversation with 250,000 jobs added. when the consensus was, what was the consensus, Darrell? 179, 180, I believe?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then we're going to have our FOMC meeting minutes coming out next Wednesday.
Okay.
So people will be analyzing over that like crazy. Are they looking at changing it or
Now,
raising it?
this is a great time. I was just going to say, so, with low volatility, though, there's going to be low implied volatility in the same way, which I know you use, Darrell, right, in most of these. And you might be able to get some cheaper, as in the premium in a lot of these instruments is not going to be as much as it would be, let's say, prior to the huge jobs number this morning or something like that. So if you could get a market move in your direction, you might be able to find some more affordable, whether it's binaries, some of the spreads, the premium you might have to pay on each side. That's something to be aware of.
And that's one of the things that I try to highlight to people when they're trading, especially the binary contracts.
Okay.
Is to be aware of when volatility is changing.
Yeah.
Because
and this is why we talk about it, folks. But the demo, you got to be in there and see how it's priced one thing on one day, and guess what? That same 10-point move in the Qs, right?
Yeah.
It's a huge
$30 on a 10-point move, and all of a sudden it's like $20 the next day.
Right. Which was your risk reward? It goes from a 1 to 5 to a 1 to 3, or huge differences. Yeah.
And the problem is a lot of people that don't. That's why I always tell people, binaries are easier to understand, a little harder to trade. Spreads are harder to understand, but easier to trade.
Yeah.
Because that implied volatility change has a lot less impact on the spread. I mean, you can see it in the implied volatility.
Sure.
But it's how far away is the price from the market?
Right. It becomes intuitive as you start seeing where it's like, oh man, I'm paying a lot for this versus it's right kind of where the market is.
That thing's like I'm paying 10 points over the value of where the market is.
Right.
Whereas on a binary, like you have a system that's working for you, and then all of a sudden, I hear this story. People go in, they're demoing for 3 weeks, and they go live, and then boom, they get hit, and they're like, "What's going on?" And what they don't realize is they just traded like in the most volatile 3 weeks of the past quarter.
They're paying so much money for those options,
but it worked for them because they were the way their system worked. It really depended upon volatility and how that pricing structure worked. But now the market barely moves 5 points. And they're paying less. They think they should be better off, but it's not moving fast enough for them.
It's a great example. So no, totally.
The binary is one of those things you really need to trade through a couple, I honestly think a couple quarters.
Okay.
To get down consistently. And I didn't touch binaries for my first 9 months. I just traded spreads on Nadex.
Cool.
And when I hopped onto them, just because to me they were more like trading futures and options.
Definitely.
And binary is a little more exotic there.
Yeah, and they're their own little vehicle for sure, right?
I'm probably in the top 10% of binary traders on Nadex.
Okay.
I by no means am negative on them. I trade them constantly, every day. I make a good living on them, but it just is one of those things that traders got to realize that they're really easy to get, but you got to understand how volatility changes the price and the movement.
And it's just, we have great action, whether it's today and, the remaining summer, just to open that up. I mean, I do it myself because I'm always getting a feel where I want to see where the market's priced before these news events. And you can do that with the demo account. So check it out, folks. Darrell Martin, Tommy O'Brien, we'll be right back. Come on back.
Are China A shares hot or not? If you trade China A shares, now may be time to take a closer look. Trade CHAU or CHAD, Directions Daily CSI 300 China A share bull and bear ETFs. China A shares in either direction. Visit directioninvestments.com today. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses of the Direction shares carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction shares. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact Direction shares at 866-476-7523. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC.
Hi, I'm Steve Rhodes, host of the Trader's Edge, heard daily at TFNN.com and author of Mastering Probability, a daily investment and trading newsletter service that I send out each morning by 8 a.m. My morning newsletter service covers exactly what the markets have been doing since last night's close, providing you with an edge on your trading day ahead. You get actionable trading ideas, including the exact entry, stop, and profit targets. Plus, I'll teach you the patterns and hidden market correlations that will make you a better trader. As a subscriber, you'll gain access to my 90-minute money management workshop, where I'll teach you the secrets that'll save your assets. The bottom line, I've got your back, including a 30-day money-back guarantee. See for yourself the type of analysis I provide each trading day by signing up for Mastering Probability today. With nothing to lose, this is an offer you should not pass on. Mastering Probability can be found under Trading Newsletters on the front page of TFNN.com.
It's 2016 and TFNN has a brand new programming lineup to kick things off. Starting January 4th, Swim Lessons by Thinkorswim and TD Ameritrade will be airing 5 days a week at noon Eastern Time. Join hosts Scott Connor, Kevin Hinks, and Cindy Faber as they host their daily options program live at noon 5 days a week with no commercials for the entire hour. Nico DeHaan and Paige Clark will be moving their program, Living a Primal Lifestyle, to twice a week, Tuesdays and Thursdays from 7 a.m. until 8 a.m. Eastern Time. Wake up with Nico and Paige and start your day off right. The Bull Bear Binary Option Hour by Nadex will now be live Mondays and Fridays at 10 a.m. Start and end the week with the three hosts, Tom O'Brien, Tommy O'Brien, and Darrell Martin, as they break down the world of trading binary options and spreads. For all the details on the new 2016 programming lineup, visit the front page of TFNN.com. TFNN, educating investors.
Catch Basil Chapman as he uses his Chapman Wave methodology to call the markets. The Tiger Technicians Hour, next on TFNN.
Welcome back, folks. Tommy O'Brien, Darrell Martin, the Bull Bear Binary Option Hour by Nadex. And this is our final segment. We have a great day of programming coming up, of course. Basil Chapman. We go to Swim Lessons. Steve Rhodes, Dave White. And I believe Dave White is rocking it out this afternoon for my dad as well. But Steve Rhodes, a quick plug. He is doing a workshop on Wednesday, Japanese candlesticks. He'll be live Wednesday night for his subscribers, Mastering Probability. And right now you can get your first month for $49. Great time to try it out. And I know Steve will be talking about next week. You can get his newsletter and have it ready for next week's action. So, with the market, you know, at this point, Darrell, is this something where you kind of look to just stay calm here? With, you know, it looks like we haven't had much movement at all in terms of anything going on, whether it's I'm looking at gold, I'm looking at oil, I'm looking at the indices. We still got the Dow up 147. I think it's moved a total of about 8 points since we've done the entire hour. What do you look to do on days like this where we're at maybe one deviation, you know, and whether you know those deviation numbers or not, and they're all important, you get a feel for, okay, we're at a move that's like as far as one can expect normally. Where do you look to trade when it's done something like that? Are you looking to absorb premium, or where are you going?
Right now I'm sitting on my hands and I'm watching. Cool.
No, that's what I find. Not that I find these tough, but I don't have a good idea of what I like to do when it's at these levels, because, you know, like you say, it's not going to go much further very often, just statistically, no matter what, right? And so are you going to go against the trend, I guess, for a pullback or something? And that's tough too, I think. So we sit and we wait and we be patient on a Friday, you know?
Basically, once I get a confirmation, then I could fade against it, yes. So I would try to do it with a very low risk trade. I'd have my stops set because, I mean, they can blow through. So right now, like what I've seen is like looking over at NASDAQ right now.
Okay.
I have a 30-minute chart up right here. It went in strong, obviously, with an FP and everything after that. Volume is really dying off. It's below expectations. We don't have a lot of volume pushing us. It doesn't mean we couldn't just creep up for the rest of the day.
Sure.
As other traders pile onto it.
Sure.
But I don't have a lot that's telling me that, hey, you should be hopping in right at this moment. I'd be more expecting the market to pull back.
Some conviction, for sure.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens. I mean, the rate deal is going to be interesting. We'll have to look at, I know my dad, those Fed fund rates and the probability. You speak of probability, right, in terms of the same thing we're talking about with your implied volatility. Sometimes those Fed fund rates probabilities are interesting that my dad's able to access versus when those rates change. And I'm sure those probabilities increased this morning with 255,000 jobs added. So maybe rates will come at us, but either way, with the FOMC meeting minutes coming out next Wednesday, which I didn't even know, that will probably add juice to the whole conversation about rates, which, of course, the market is hinging on.
Exactly.
I don't know. I like free money, so I hope it stays that way.
Especially especially with y'all do real estate and everything too, right?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that's more my dad's wheelhouse, but free money there is a pretty cool deal. It's cool across the board, though. I mean, seriously, I say it there as for my own mortgage, as you want to refinance, right? I want it down. You got car loans, you have everything. So across the board, no matter what you're doing, it's a self-serving.
Yeah. It makes a lot of things a lot cheaper.
It does. So, take that personal experience, folks, and just put it into business. I'm talking about a personal mortgage. When you run some of these mammoth companies, you can see why rates are just so crucial in terms of how they can affect your profit, your losses, and what kind of operations that you can pretty much spin at the cost of nothing as long as you're making more than 2% a year or something like that on your growth, which is an astounding number. So we got the Dow up 146. I think we're just going to tippy-toe into the afternoon.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens.
We'll get led in the next hour here. Stay tuned, right?
That's right. All right. Stay tuned for Basil Chapman, folks. Darrell Martin, thanks so much, man.
Thank you.
All right. Everyone, have a great weekend. Dow's up 146. Enjoy yourselves. Be safe. We will see you on Monday. Thanks, folks.
Since 1984, Basil Chapman has been using the Chapman Wave methodology to advise traders of his expert market opinion. While originally hand-drawing charts from the late 1970s into the 1980s, Basil noticed that prices under most circumstances virtually always had a certain number of legs to the upside before declining sharply. Later, Basil found that computer software, which included the standard market technical indicators, enhanced the degree of accuracy in calling price turns, as well as market trend calls. Thus was born the Chapman Wave sequence. Using the Chapman Wave methodology along with other indicators, Basil Chapman advises his subscribers of his expert market opinion each market day with his opening call newsletter. Right now, you can get a 2-week free trial to the opening call, Basil's daily trading newsletter, by visiting the front page of TFNN.com. Cancel at any time during that trial and pay absolutely nothing. Get your 2-week free trial to Basil's newsletter, The Opening Call, today by visiting TFNN.com.
This is TFNN.